It happens to everyone, but it sure does make me feel super bad about myself. I've been making a lot of mistakes lately. And if you've ever made a mistake or two, or five at work, I have some tips for you to help you work through your being human on a job in this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh. I'm from the blog superlibrarymarketing.com. If you want to check it out, you can go there. There's a tab called the Library Marketing Show where you can contact me. Use it to ask a question that I will answer in a future episode, or to nominate your library or another library that you've seen doing great work in marketing for kudos. I'm going to give away kudos a little later in this show. Also, normally I ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on LinkedIn to never miss an episode, but there's actually a better way to stay up to date with all the videos, and that is to go to superlibrarymarketing.com and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. On the bottom left-hand side, put your email address in there and click follow. Then you'll get an email every time I drop an episode, and you'll never miss one. So I've been making a lot of mistakes lately at work and with the blog and with the videos. So first thing I'm going to do is apologize for those things. But I thought it would make a really great episode of this because I bet there are many of you who've also made mistakes. I've been doing things like tagging the wrong library in my social media posts or forgetting to add links to the Library Marketing Show episodes. Just silly little things that aren't big, aren't going to get me fired, but also really show that I am not perfect. And if you're like me and you make mistakes, here are some things to keep in mind, especially if you're working in marketing, and many of us are doing more than one thing all of the time. So I have a little rule about when I make a mistake. I try to feel bad about it because that's natural for me, but I try to limit the amount of time in which I feel bad. Like I let myself have my feelings and then I say, okay, I felt that, I did it, and now I'm going to move on. So be upset with yourself for a little bit if you're going to, but kind of set yourself a time limit. Maybe even set a timer on your phone if you want to. And then that's the amount of time you get to feel bad, and that's it. Then the next thing after you feel bad about it is to also keep things in perspective. So we're all working in libraries, and I'm pretty sure that none of the work that we do is life-threatening. No one is going to die if we forget to add a link to a video. Remind yourself of that after you make a mistake. The third thing to do is if there's somebody you need to apologize to, go ahead and do that, but don't overdo it. Just say, I'm really sorry. And the next thing to do is to make a plan of action for how you're going to avoid making the same mistake again. So in my apologies, I like to say to the person, I'm really sorry, and here's how I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. That also helps me to feel better and to get over feeling bad about making a mistake, because now I have figured out a way to not make this mistake again. Then I want you to remember that a lot of times we make mistakes at work because we're overworked or maybe something else is going on in our life personally. It is really important to take good care of yourself. We've had a couple of episodes about self-care on this show. I'm going to link one up here. Good to rewatch those episodes and remind yourself how important it is to make sure you're getting enough sleep, you're getting enough to eat, you are asking for help with your workload if you need to. That's all part of self-care. And then sometimes, because we've made a mistake, we have to do a little bit of earning trust back. And I like to do that through actions, not words. So a couple of weeks ago, I did both of those mistakes I told you at the top, tagged a wrong library and forgot to add links. So I've really been working hard to make sure that I don't forget to do those two things in the future in order to earn the trust back of my viewers and readers. That's kind of what you have to do sometimes in the workplace too. Those are all my tips for when you make mistakes at work. Really just wanted to create this episode to let you know we're all human and mistakes happen. And I'm really interested to hear about if you feel comfortable sharing some mistakes that you've made in library marketing at your library and how you went about fixing them or apologizing or making sure the mistake didn't happen again. I think this is a really good conversation to have, and we should normalize mistake making. So let's get a conversation going down in the comments. Okay, it's time for kudos, my favorite part of the show. And today's kudos goes to the Laurel Branch Library, which is a part of the Prince George's County Memorial Library System. They had a Pink Floyd CD show up in their return drop after something like 30 years of being checked out. It was very overdue. And they got news coverage for that on, get ready for it, NPR's Morning Edition. It's a very short clip, but it's super cool, especially because everybody who reads for NPR has a great voice. So I'm going to put a link to that down in the comments. I promise it'll be there. And you can listen to it. It's about 30 seconds long. Great job to the Laurel Branch Public Library. All right, that's it for this episode of the Library Marketing Show. But my channel has lots more tips for library marketing. If you want to continue to learn, head to the next video and I'll see you there.